Welcome back to TheWorldOfHorror. I hope you had an amazing day. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with "I subscribed" so I can get back to you. Today we have an interview with Charles Manson. He was a shaggy leader of a cult-like clan of hippie types. He was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy. Manson died at a hospital in 2017 while serving a life sentence. So now that you have a little background, let's begin. Sit back and enjoy.
About this before, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to try it one more time. You can see them on.
You got a pistol on you?
No, sir. They wouldn't let me in here if I had a pistol. You know that as well as I do. So why even ask the question? Okay.
Well, I just thought you might not like what I've done. You want to do something about it?
I don't much care for what you've done.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. How do you feel about that? A lot of people think you're a monster, Charles.
They think you're a monster because you reflect this news media on me. Cult leader. I never had long hair before I got busted. I never had a beard before I got busted. I went to shave, and the guy said, "No, you can't shave." And I said, "I need a razor to shave." He said, "No, you can't shave." I said, "Let me get a haircut." He said, "No, we don't want you to change your appearance." So when you put the camera first on me, you got long hair and a beard. First time in my life I ever had long hair and a beard.
You want to shave and get a haircut? I'll shut him off, or you'll get a shave and a haircut.
Am I telling him right? I'm not of this generation.
You want to shave and a haircut right now? I'll shut him down right now. You want to shave and a haircut?
Yeah. I was trying to explain to you, man, that a lot they pushed off on me is not me. They said I had a great family and I was the following and leaders and all that. There's no followers and leaders, a bunch of kids out the ranch playing. To me.
Playing at what?
Playing at living.
The accounts say that you gave him dope. I'm just saying what the accounts say. I'm not saying I know it to be so. So here's your chance to say it wasn't true. Okay. That there was a lot of hanky-panky. That you turned the girls on with dope and sex out there. That's what they said. All right, that's what they said. Well, are they wrong?
Oh. Well, I went down to Haight-Ashbury, and a little kid, 10 years old, come over and said, "You want an acid pill?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "This is good. Make colors go." I said, "No, I heard about them things. I don't want none of that." And then another little kid was rolling a joint. And they were sitting there smoking a joint, and they asked me if I wanted one.
What'd you say?
I said, "I used to smoke this stuff in the 60s, but never in the 50s. But it really wasn't that, it was funny, but it's not."
How much dope did you use in your lifetime? Were you a heavy user of dope?
No, I smoked a little grass, and I've taken some acid, mescaline, psilocybin, peyote, mushroom. But actually take dope, no, nothing. I wouldn't take anything with it I feel would hurt me.
Do you feel that those things that you just mentioned hurt you at all, Charles?
Physically or spiritually?
Mentally.
And then on what level? On the level of society, the way you view the norm?
No. Stop the hogwash. Do you feel that the drugs that you did use in your earlier lifetime confused you, altered your mind, juggled it, scrambled it, made you see things differently? Stay on that level if you can.
Maybe I find a spirit of caveman think through brain.
Let me try it again. Do you think the drugs you used hurt you?
Drugs hurt me. No, I don't think the drugs have hurt me. If I overdone it, I think it would.
You don't want to be anybody's leader, do you?
No.
Never did want to be anybody's leader?
Don't like attention.
Then why do you...
Most insecure people need attention.
I was just going to say, then, if you don't want attention, why all your life have you kept waving your arms saying, "Hey, look at me"?
That's what I've been doing all my life.
Well, I would have to say that a young man...
Let's see if I got that documented.
...who by the time he's 20 years old has been in and out of jails and reform schools for a variety of offenses that include wife beating,
wife beating, that's never whipped my old lady.
Didn't you?
No, I punched my mother out once.
Oh, you did? All right, well, we'll call it mother beating. Forging
but
checks.
She was wrong when she lied to me and beat me for my money, and she didn't do right.
Forging checks, car theft. I mean, these are ways of waving your arms and saying, "Look at me, give me some attention."
Yeah.
Yet you say you don't want any attention. Now, Charles, that's a contradiction.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, over a period of about 20 years, I imagine you'd want to change something. I'm not very wise to many things, but I am wise to one thing,
What's that?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. You punched your mother. Did you hate your mother?
No, I love her. She's a good girl.
What about your wife? You were married once, weren't you?
Yeah.
How'd that go? Why'd you want to get married? That's kind of conventional. That's kind of normal. That's kind of in the rut.
I got
You say
married.
to get married.
Getting it. That's why I got married.
Married for sex was the reason you got married.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know what was happening. I knew there was something happening, but no one would tell me, so I had to find out. You know, I didn't have books like you guys, Playboys and stuff in them days. I had to find out for myself.
Why do you think us guys are all playboys? We keep
Oh, man, I didn't say you were Playboy. I was talking about Playboy magazine type thoughts, man.
Okay. You had a son by that marriage, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a kid somewhere.
Do you think about him?
Not about as much as my father did me.
So two wrongs make a right in Charles.
No, I didn't say there's anything wrong with the way my dad's been taking care of me. He lets me live. I'm alive.
I remember you saying, or being quoted in the courtroom in Los Angeles, as saying, the children who came at you with knives are your children.
Yeah, I didn't raise them. You raised them.
You are the ones who kicked them out. You are responsible for what they've done.
That's right. Just as much as I am.
So you, in my mind, were criticizing society for kicking their children out. And yet I've just seen you sit here and say, yeah, I got a kid somewhere.
Yeah.
How can you criticize other people for kicking their kids out and you did the same thing?
Difference, many levels, difference. See, my old lady left me and run off with a truck driver. She said, let's steal a car and go to California. And I said, man, I ain't going to steal a car and go to California and go back to jail. She says, we won't get caught. We didn't get caught. Just I got caught. She didn't get caught. So then she had a kid, and then some truck driver came along, and I was a green kid, and I didn't know what I was doing. You know, so she said, you know, I got a ride from you. I'll see you later. She took off and got married to somebody else. You know, she's a good girl.
And besides the son that you had in your marriage, you've got, what, 4 other children somewhere?
I don't think I've been responsible for as much as you people want to lay on me.
Well, how many children do you have, Charles?
How many children do I have? I don't know. I have lots of children, man. In fact, sometimes I even think you're a child.
But you just said you don't have any children, you don't have any family in the context of the ranch. I'm talking about children that are your natural children.
Children that are my natural ego?
No, children.
Oh, children? I would divide one child from the other.
All right, somewhere out there, there's at least one son that we know of that's your child, who's probably about 25 or 26 years old right now.
Right?
Yeah. Look in that camera. What do you say to that kid? What do you say to your son out there, watching his old man on television? Maybe the first time he's ever seen his old man, with his face all carved up and his eyes glowering. You talk to that kid. What are you going to say to him?
You got to catch it on your own, boy. Training's hard. The road's rough.
And that's it.
That's all I knew. That's all anyone ever told me.
All right.
And you want to hear something?
Yeah?
He'll do it better than me.
Do what?
Whatever he does. He'll do it a little better. Kids do, don't they?
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's what makes them such a gas. They always seem to get through.
There was a story about a celebrity hit.
Was you ever a kid once?
Absolutely. Still am in many ways, but not your way.
Oh, my way? I don't know what my way is. Everybody keeps telling me I got all these things. I read the other day where I had magical powers, and I told everybody in the chapel, I said, zap, 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 zap. I said, where's my magical powers? Well, you can't believe what you read in the press. I could get no magical powers, mystical trips, and all that kind of crap. Yeah, it's kind of silly. You know, we got witches and devils, and one guy come up and said, I heard you said you were Jesus. I said, no, man, I ain't said that. He said, I'm glad. He said, I'm damn glad. I said, why? He said, I know you ain't him. I said, how do you know? He said, because I am. I said, okay. But I mean, you know, I've been in the nut ward for 10 years, so you can't expect me to rationally take this thing serious.
Don't you think you belong in the nut ward?
Well, it's all right. But
don't you belong there?
I belong wherever I'm allowed to go, man. Like, you know, I belong.
Let me nail down one other real simple one. Now, listen to how simple this is, Charles. There was a story in the media back when the trial was going on that Charles Manson had a celebrity hit list. I don't know who was on it. Maybe there never was such a list, but was there a list of people, famous people, that you thought about harassing, bothering?
If I wanted to harass them, I just wouldn't watch their TV show.
In terms of your being in isolation, you are not on what is called the main line. You're not with the prison population here. How do you feel about that?
Do I feel about it? I don't feel about it.
Would you rather not be in isolation?
Well, I've been trying to get on the main line. I've been trying to get to the prison for the last 13 years.
Why?
Why? Walk around, play some handball, play a little guitar, do my number, do my time like any convict does, like I've always done, like my mind has been set to do, like my past lives have been in jail, doing time in jail. In fact, when I got out, I just got outside and sat down. I wasn't going nowhere. I gave up, see.
If you were on the main line, wouldn't you be exposed to some dangers?
Come on, man. If you're thinking exposure to danger, then that danger you're thinking is coming around you.
Well, look what happened to James Earl Ray. You heard about that, didn't you?
James Earl Ray's got his problems. I got mine.
But you heard what happened to him. Have you heard? He got stuck.
Yeah.
22
people
times.
died in India, too.
Got stuck.
And some other people died in Hawaii.
You wouldn't be
dying all over.
All right. You wouldn't be frightened or afraid then of the prison population trying to make a hit on you.
Man, I've been staying alive in prison this long without no help.
What is S ward?
It's a nut ward.
What goes on in there?
Whatever goes on in there. You'd have to ask the people responsible for that.
Well, do they do things to you in there?
Do they do things to me?
Mm-hmm.
That depends.
They give you medication here?
Yeah, they give you medication here.
You have medication now?
No. No, it took me about a few years to get off the medication. The medication has toned me down quite a bit. Whole lot. That's the reason I like the desert. When I get out in the desert, then I can let it out and say, if I see you within 50 miles, they will know something. Yeah, I used to love that desert. Out in the woods and things. I didn't know you could get out in the woods for 30 years.
How do you feel about spending the rest of your life in prison?
Well, we're all our own prisons. We each are our own wardens, and we do our own times. We get stuck in our own little trips, and we kind of judge ourselves the way we do. You know, I can't judge nobody else. The best thing I could do is try to judge myself and live with that. See, what other people do is not really my affair unless they approach me with it and want me to do something about it. Then I'll take into consideration what has to be done. But other than that, I just try to do my number, do my time, get out on the main line, play some tennis, walk around, make the chow a little better, you know. And then there's a possibility the preacher could teach me something, because the preacher, the reverend, is quite a guy, and I'm finding that got 2 or 3 doctors here that got a lot of sense. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they got a lot of sense in my world, you know. And I've tried to shake 2 or 3 of them, but they're pretty smart. And then they got some pretty good inmates here, trying to get out, work their lives into a decent sort of way, trying to promote harmony, pull ourselves together, be right, do right, and have the understanding of what it is in a congenial form for world peace. There's a lot of people working for world peace.
Let's assume that one day you were paroled. Let's just let's just make believe. Do you ever think you will be?
Yeah. Do I ever think I will be? Well, I've never been paroled before. I went up to the board, and they said I was incorrigible. And not only was I incorrigible, but that I'd never grow up. And I kind of agreed with them. I had a
Well,
war.
I mean, let's just play make-believe here for a second. Let's make-believe. Let's make-believe you're getting out tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay?
And tomorrow creeps this petty face, yeah.
Would you go after anybody, Charles?
After anybody?
Do you feel let me try another. Do you feel you have any scores to settle with anybody on the outside?
What do you think? Yeah, do I have any scores out there? And we're making believe, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, buddy. Well, I don't rightly know. I'm stupid to the point to where I'm not really sure. And if you'll ask the question again, maybe the answer will come to you. What was it again?
If you got out tomorrow, do you have any scores to settle on the outside?
Scores? You mean people that have done me wrong?
Or you feel you've done you wrong?
Oh, that feel that I've done them wrong?
No, feel that they've done you wrong.
Oh.
That you feel have done you wrong.
Oh, well, most people do themselves wrong.
But would you want to go? Would you want to go get anybody?
No.
If you got out, no.
No, they push. See what they do. See, they take all that bad and they push it off on each other. I told the dude, "You're doing this to yourself, man." You know, I've been sitting in there. In other words, I'm in the cell, right? And they let me out, and I walk around. The guy says, "If you don't do this, we're gonna lock you back up." I said, "Okay, I don't care anyway." I done gave up that thought. Prison's in your mind, man. Like, you know.
Okay.
You can sit in the cell, and the guy says, "You in prison?" I said, "No, I'm just here." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just sitting here waiting for these people to get done doing what they're doing so I could get out."
Do you have a television set? Do you watch television?
Yeah, I used to watch it a little bit, but it kind of looks, I don't really like it that much.
Okay. Well, what about newspapers? Do you get newspapers?
No, I don't bother with those. I know that they're jiving there.
All right. What, radio? Listen to the radio?
I listen to a Hearts and Space program. I like that. And the rest of it's just like a bunch of... There's no...
What about your music?
I get some classical music on the 98 station that's saying something.
Okay. But what about your own music? I remember reading that you at one time had a recording stint at a studio in Hollywood, and that you liked guitar and you wrote music or sang music.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. But the way I do it ain't the same way you guys do it. And the way I do it scares you guys. So I didn't want to scare you guys out of the neighborhood right away. So I just took a can and started banging on it, you know. But we used to have some cosmic gatherings back in the mountains that would probably shake a Mormon tabernacle choir's eardrums.
You said the kind of music you play scares people. Why shouldn't people be scared by you?
There's only one person you can be scared of, and that's yourself. Afraid of what? Losing your bank account? Afraid of your wife going away? You have all those things. I'm not afraid of losing my watch or someone taking my money or robbing me. I went down to Mexico in the 50s and down where the Yankees was, and they said, "Man, you don't go down where the Yankees are." He said, "They're terrible." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, they don't like people like you." I said, "Well, they didn't say anything."
Yeah, but I asked that question in the context that, whether you believe it or not, there are a lot of people on the outside that think about the possibility of you coming out of here, and they're genuinely scared.
Oh, boy, I might just make dust. Everything. Terrible. One little guy. Terrible. Ooh. Boy, how insecure are we as human beings? Put all our fear on one little guy. Afraid to let him out. He might break all the toys.
Why do you say little guy?
Because I'm not the guy you trying to make out of me. That's not me. That's some guy in somebody's imagination that wanted to make a couple $100 million for himself. He got rich. He had a good game going. He had a better game going than I did. But he had a good mother to help him. She helped him in a nice game. I was kind of on the sideline. See, I had to get around that game and look over the tracks.
Okay, now, here we go on mother again for a second. You said he had a nice mother to help him. Does that mean you did not have a nice mother to help you?
Oh, well, I imagine I got a whole lot of nice mothers that would help me. If I would help them, you know. How much would you help yourself?
When I asked you why you got married, you said for sex.
That's when I was 20 years old.
Yeah. What kind? This is funny. What kind of sex life is there for Charles in this prison?
Well, I a bit now and then. I try to hide it, not to embarrass other people. But I've been doing it ever since I was 10. I get to thinking, here I'm an old man sitting in the cell. That's the damnedest thing I ever seen, you know. It looks like I grow up, but I really don't know how yet. I'm learning. Preacher teaching me how to grow up.
Do you miss women?
Certainly. My goodness, yeah, damn right. Yeah.
What do you think of women?
Oh, I like them. Yeah, they're nice. They're put together well and everything, and they're soft and spongy. Yeah, they're nice. As long as they keep their mouth shut and do what they're supposed to do.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what a woman's supposed to do.
Keep her mouth shut and do what she's supposed to do?
Sure.
Who taught you that?
Oh, I don't want her snitching on me. He is?
You know, you were sentenced to the gas chamber and then they modified the death penalty. Were you happy when that was done?
Was I happy when what was done?
When you found out that you weren't going to the gas chamber.
You're talking about dying. Now, it gets me nervous.
Why?
Did you have any thoughts about something? Was you wanting to go anywhere?
Were you happy when you found out you weren't going to go to the gas chamber, Charles?
I knew I wasn't going to go to the gas chamber because I hadn't done anything wrong.
You scared to die?
Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy. Getting up every day and going through this again and again is hard. See, I'm carrying a heavy thought. See, the thought I'm carrying is very heavy. Like I'm on a football team and everybody's. I'm a little guy. I don't have no home team. You got all the home. I got one cheerleader or one coach. See, you got me at a disadvantage because I'm on your ground. See. So, and this is your street, I reckon. You got the cameras and the money and the things. But you can believe me that Bulliosis had you all on a rib. And all the guys that sold you most of that stuff sold you a bunch of things that weren't real. Not to me. We used to have games we would play. On the movie set, we would take on different people. I'd be Riff Raff Rackus. And Steve would be John Jones, just come in from Minneapolis and driving the truck. And we'd just take other people and play act other people. And then we lost track of who we were. And it went off and do other dimensions and levels of thought and understanding and comprehension that were beyond most people's minds, functions, computers, data. So all I did was watch and learn everything I could from everybody I ever met. Then when I got out of prison, I just walked around. I didn't tell nobody to do nothing. I said, do what you want to do. Don't tell me what to do. I don't like people telling me what to do. They just come from a place where they told me what to do all my life. You know, I want to find out what to do for myself, you know. I never did. Not yet. But I was going to take a trade one of these days, maybe learn to be a welder or something. Till I can get to the front gate anyway.
Or people were killed. How did you get involved in that drama?
Well, I was born illegitimately. That put me on the other side of the law. I've been an outlaw ever since I was born. I went to reform school when I was about 10. And I learned to box and cry. And I learned to do all the things that you do in reform school. Then I escaped there a bunch of times and I went to prison. And I learned everything that you do in prison. And I talked to all the guys and asked them everything they knew. And they told me all the things they knew. And then I went to the end of it, and then the old man would be ready to die, and he'd say, well, son, sincerity is the best gimmick, remember that. And I said, all right, be sincere, that'll win it. He said, that's it. Sincerity and honesty, he said, it'll do it. It'll trick them every time. I said, well, sincere and honesty, I never tried that. I tried everything else, but maybe I'll try sincere and honesty. So then I looked in the book and it said, the wages of sin is death. Now I figured, well, I don't want to die, so maybe I have been sinful here. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I'll take a look at my life and say, well, I'm going to change it and start all over. You know, and I know I go to God and I say, hey, man, you're going to forgive me? And He's going to say, what do? You forgive you? I mean, what did you come to me for? Forgive yourself, man. Don't be bothering me. You know, and I think, well, He must be a big, mighty God, man. He just, you know, He ain't got time. You got to make an appointment or something, you know. So I see the whole aspect of the whole trip for children to play, you know. And then I get stuck in the game of playing the goat here, or the lamb, or some other trip. I was a teddy bear, and then I was a goofball, and whatever. And what is the real one? Where's the real one? I don't know where the real one is. It's in a nut word somewhere.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you loved the video. Check out my other videos for more interesting interviews. I am sure you will find your taste. See you soon. Stay safe.